had a fantastic weekend. I want to just open with a couple of quick remarks. First of all, COVID continues to spike in Portland as it does in other areas of the state. So I just want to continue to remind people, wear your masks. We are virtual today, so I don't have my mask on at this particular moment. Encourage people to just exercise common sense. You know the drill, wear masks, stay physically distanced, avoid getting together with large groups of people, adhere to the governor's guidance, and we will get through this, I assure you. The second thing I want to just briefly highlight is that I've had a number of conversations with people who have received very threatening and racist letters of late. One of those letters included a reference to a so-called kill list. And on that list of individuals were people who are largely Black, people who are largely politically active around police reform and racial justice. And I want to make it clear, number one, that those letters, which I've seen, are shocking. They are violent in nature. They are clearly racist in nature, and they are abhorrent. They're not to be tolerated. They certainly don't comport with the values of this community, and they don't comport with the values of basic civility and decency either. And I want to make it very clear that the Portland Police Bureau continues to investigate these issues. They take them very seriously. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is also involved. They also are taking it very seriously. In asking for a follow-up this morning, I learned that the Portland Police Bureau has now reached out to, or at least attempted through all available public means to reach out to every individual who is on that so-called kill list. If there are other individuals who would like an interaction with the Portland Police Bureau, please let me know, somebody in my office know, or somebody in the Portland Police Bureau, and we will certainly reach out to you. But I just want to underscore that it's unacceptable, and that we take it seriously, and that we're working with both local and federal law enforcement to apprehend and hold accountable the individual or individuals who are responsible for sending those messages.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Reporters and members of the media, I'd like you to hit their hand raise. I see Tim Gordon did. So we will start with Tim Gordon from KGW, but the rest of you, if you have questions, I would ask that you please raise your hand in the column there, and we'll call on you. So Tim Gordon, KGW.
Morning, Tim.
Good morning, Mayor. I get to go first. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for asking.
Good. You bet. Hey, so I want to talk a little bit about homelessness. The Greyhound Station, I think, is pretty close to opening as a temporary shelter, but there's still a lot of issues in Old Town. Can you address that a little bit? We're still getting complaints from people about, blocking sidewalks with tents, a lot of drug use, a lot of criminal activity still going on down there. How much is the shelter going to help? What else can be done? And what's happening in your perspective with Old Town?
One of the top priorities of my administration, and in conversations that I've had with my new city commissioners, I think we all share this as a city council, is making sure we can get as many people as quickly and safely and humanely as possible off of our sidewalks and into alternative situations. And so in part, that's why we opened 300 additional shelter beds. Going forward, we're looking at other strategies, including increasing the number of alternative shelters that we have, potentially establishing some safe camp zones, doing more around purchasing hotels and motels. We are obviously in the process of bringing in hardened pods to help turn the emergency COVID campsites that we have. Those are managed campsites with access to hygiene and water and services. We're going to carry those through the winter by putting in over 100 hardened pods that can be heated, that can protect people from the elements. So we're really moving on all fronts, with the priority being to get as many people off the sidewalks as possible. I've toured Old Town, Chinatown. I've spoken with residents in that area. I've met with business owners, and people are understandably extremely frustrated. Doorways to homes are being blocked. Doorways to businesses are being blocked. Public egress on public sidewalks is being blocked. And of course, there's a whole host of livability problems as well. And so the key thrust for me personally in my second term is going to be around safety, homelessness, and livability issues. That doesn't mean that the administration won't be engaged in other priorities, but for me, those are my top priorities. And I am mindful of the fact that we have a crisis on our hands with regard to the number of people who are camping outside. We want to bring them in, whether it's additional shelter, alternative camps, safe camp zones, purchasing hotels and motels and providing more low-income housing, working with the faith community, doing whatever we can through innovative means like the shelter pods to get people off the sidewalks.
Just a quick follow-up. How helpful do you think specifically the Greyhound site will be, particularly if there's still a lot of people that just don't want to be indoors, they want to be out?
The conversations I've had with people in the immediate area are that turning it into a managed, professionally managed and monitored shelter will actually be an improvement to what it is today. Today it is a public eyesore and it is an underutilized asset in a key area. I think it's an important step towards getting people off the sidewalks in Old Town Chinatown. And having visited that area many times myself, being very familiar with it, I can tell you that it is one of the highest priority zones in the city of Portland. There is a serious problem with the number of tents in Old Town Chinatown.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Tim. Going down the list here, Lachey Wesley, K2. You have a question?
Good morning. So, Mayor, there was a huge demand for the first round of the PDX Assist. Is this the best way to get those funds out to people who are the most in need? And has the city been able to determine what the economic impact was from the first round?
So I can get back to you on the second question. I don't have that information personally available, but I can get the people who track that to give you that answer about the specific economic impact. Is this the best or the most efficient way? Given that these are CARES dollars and we are required to distribute these dollars prior to December 31st, we're also thinking about how to do it as quickly as possible. So we want to make sure on one hand we get it to the people with the highest need, those households that are struggling the most or people who've been directly economically impacted by COVID, including being laid off from their jobs. And we also want to do it as quickly as possible. So this is the strategy that's being used here as well as in other parts of the country. This is not the only strategy we pursued. Of course, $35 million of our CARES dollars went out through the Housing Bureau to rent support and household support. And that, in my mind, continues to be an extremely high value as well, because it keeps people in their houses and it also allows landlords and building owners to be able to pay their mortgages and pay their expenses as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lachey. Keaton Thomas, K2.
Mayor, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Sorry to double dip with K2.
No worries. No worries. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I'm looking at the city council agenda for later this week, and I noticed a resolution on there that it looks like you and Commissioner Hardesty, you daily are putting forth with regards to inventorying PPBs, basically munitions, and then also maybe putting some protocols in place for how they acquire them. I guess, can you tell me what am I trying to ask here? What led to this resolution? And additionally, what do you hope that will do in terms of increasing police accountability?
There are tools that the Portland Police Bureau uses around crowd control. Those include different types of munitions and crowd control devices. This is really a play for openness and transparency. And this is something that the Portland Police Bureau supports. So there's really two parts to the resolution. The first part is what my colleagues had originally intended, which is to do an inventory of all those munitions so that the public is aware of what is in the inventory in the Portland Police Bureau. And that also will clarify for many people what is not in the inventory for the Portland Police Bureau. Additionally, the part that I brought and my team has brought to the table, and we've combined efforts here, is a quarterly report to the Portland City Council about the acquisition or use of any of those munitions that are identified on the list. To be clear, I have previously supported former President Barack Obama's 21st century policing methodology. The language that we used in this resolution comports with the executive order that President Obama had originated during his administration. But the bottom line is this is about openness and transparency. One of the key ways to build trust between the police bureau and the public that the bureau serves is just to be completely transparent about what we have and how we're using it.
And just a quick follow-up, have you had conversations with the police bureau about this, and are there any sticking points, or is this something that you said that they're on board with?
No, the police bureau is on board with this. We've had, my staff has had numerous conversations with the Portland Police Bureau, and I think all of us agree that in this time where we really need to act in good faith with the public and build trust, openness and transparency and accountability is key.
Thank you.
Eaton. Lisa Balick, Coin TV.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Good morning. Question there relative to downtown and retail. With Christmas, about 2.5 weeks away, the vaccine potentially 4 to 6 months out for a lot of people. Is there any plan to try and help downtown any more than what's occurred, since it's still pretty much a ghost town and retail in the next couple of weeks is critical? After January, it falls off naturally. Is there any way to try and help?
Yes, there is something that everybody in this community can do right now, and that is shop local. If you go to the Prosper Portland website, there's actually a link that has all of the different participants, the downtown retailers, as well as retailers throughout the city's business districts who are participating. There is also, there are other lists that are out there. The Native Chamber has a list, and other chambers of commerce as well are pushing lists. But here's my recommendation. Amazon has a role to play in this city, and Amazon has an important role to play nationally and globally in terms of our economy. But please try our local retailers first. Go to their websites, or go to our centralized Shop PDX local website. And if you don't find what you are looking for locally, then you can go to Amazon. But please give the local folks the shot first.
But Mayor, how do you attract people to come downtown when it looks like a ghost town?
Well, right now under the governor's COVID restrictions, there aren't a lot of people downtown, and so a lot of the web-based solutions are going to be the best for most people who want to stay in or stay separated. But I'm in downtown right now. There's a number of retailers that are open. There's plenty of parking. The streets are safe and clean, and we encourage people to come down and participate. Lisa, the holiday tree is also up in Pioneer Square. It looks great. Come down and take a look at it. Bring the family.
Okay, Lisa, you're done, it looks like. I have no other hands raised.
Lisa, there is one other thing I want to add. The downtown livability situation continues to be central, and we've thought about it mostly in terms of business generally. We've thought about it in terms of employers. We've thought about it in terms of litter collection. We've thought about it in terms of graffiti abatement, and obviously we've increased all of our efforts there. I referenced the homeless situation earlier. Public safety is very important as well. People need to feel safe in downtown, and there's a perception out there that downtown isn't safe. We've seen a lot of the nightly demonstrations dissipate, so police officers have been deployed back on patrol in the precincts, so there is more of a police presence. People really should feel safe and welcome to come to downtown Portland. But as part of my transition into my second term, downtown livability is going to be a specific issue, separate and discrete from the rest of the issues that we're discussing. It will be a priority. It's important that people feel safe and welcome to downtown, and that it's clean and that it's welcoming.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Jim Redden with the Portland Tribune. Jim, your
Hey,
hands
Jim.
up.
Can you comment on the chart that was in the Oregonian, I think it was on Sunday, on police response times and how much they've increased in recent months, and what, if anything, the city can do about that?
I have specifically asked both Police Chief Lavelle as well as the Director of the Bureau of Emergency Communications, Bob Causey, to provide me information on calls that come into the 911 system by crime category and how those calls are handled, how they are referred to the police bureau, and what the actual response time is in each of those areas. And I'll be happy to share that information when I get it. In terms of timeline, I've asked them to be thorough and complete and get it to me at the point when they have thorough and complete information. It's my understanding they are either completed or close to be completed in compiling that information, which will come to me. I am also told anecdotally, just in the last couple of weeks since the nightly demonstrations have dissipated, the call response time is actually going down again. And that's what I would hope to see. People expect that when they call 911 at 2 in the morning, a police officer shows up and shows up quickly.
Okay, any other questions from the media out there? I'm seeing no hands raised. So going once, going twice. Thank you all for participating today, and we'll see you again soon in the near future.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.